I got hot dogs in my veins. It's another week and time for another video with Permanent Records with Mark. How's everyone doing? This week, top 5 soundtracks. Captain Handlebars has a contest. He wants to know what my top 5 soundtracks are. And you know what? If there's something I love almost as much as music, it's movies. Years and years ago, I used to work at a Blockbuster video store. Loved working at Blockbuster even though it didn't pay. It was like working the clerks. That's where I met Tyler. Tyler was my boss at one time, believe it or not. And we would sit around just talk about movies, shoot the shit about movies. So let's get started on this contest for Captain Handlebars. First off, High Fidelity, the original soundtrack. This was a record store day special, and it came on this beautiful orange vinyl that matches the cover. You got Bob Dylan, The Kinks, Velvet Underground, 13th Floor Elevators on here. You got Elvis Costello and the Attractions. You got Jack Black singing Let's Get It On. The only thing that bothers me that's not on here is it doesn't have the Stiff Little Fingers. There's a whole scene involving talking about the Stiff Little Fingers. Great band. If you never got a chance to listen to them, great punk band from Ireland, and they don't have them on the soundtrack. But besides that, it's a pretty good soundtrack. The reason why this is also great, who out here in the vinyl community has never dreamed of owning their own record shop? Come on. Sitting around listening to records all day, shooting the shit about music, and making fun of hipsters. That would be the perfect job. Come on. So now let's get on to our second soundtrack. I already did a video about this, but this is my favorite musical of all time, The Blues Brothers. You gotta love The Blues Brothers. This is one of the greatest musical movies of all time. A lot of theater and film snobs will tell me it's not a musical. It's a musical. Not just that, a musical with great car chases too. I love this. I mean, not only do you have the Blues Brothers, but you have James Brown, Cab Calloway, Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin on here. The only person you don't have on here, unfortunately, is John Lee Hooker. Because, God, I love John Lee Hooker. He's one of the greatest bluesmen of all time, and he had one of the best scenes in the movie. If you ever get to see it, check out the deleted extended scene. It's hilarious. Now let's move on to number 3, The Big Lebowski. I just want a white Russian thinking about this. I love this movie. It's a great film noir. Bob Dylan, Elvis Costello, Captain Beefheart, Henry Mancini, Kenny Rogers, and the Rolling Stones. You gotta love this movie. I mean, it's an amazing movie, and it's a great soundtrack. This is one of those, you either love this movie, or you think this movie is shit. And I love this movie. I think it's great. This comes on a, can't get it open, but it comes on a beautiful red bowling ball colored vinyl. So, Big Lebowski is number 3. Number 4, if you grew up in the 80s, you love Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Love this. Sammy Hagar, The Go-Go's, Stevie Nicks, Grand Funk Railroad, Jackson Browne for some reason, but Oingo Boingo, great album, great movie. You know, I grew up down in Boynton Beach. I grew up around a lot of surfers. I knew a lot of Jeff Spicolis. I knew a lot of them. I grew up with them. It's funny to see them now because some of them are doctors. But Fast Times at Ridgemont High soundtrack. If you haven't gotten it, get it. It's worth the get. And I do have a pair of Vans. Unfortunately, I'm not wearing them right now, but I do have the exact same pair of shoes. Last but not least, yes, a couple people have mentioned this, but this is heavy metal. And I've done a heavy metal episode, but you gotta love this. Blue Oyster Cult, Black Sabbath, Cheap Trick, Devo. Also, it has Trust, which was a great French band, which had Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden, before he played for Iron Maiden, played in Trust. This is my favorite animated movies. I have a lot of friends who are Disney geeks and Disney snobs, and whenever you tell them, my favorite animated movie is heavy metal, they always get that look on their face. But I love the movie. I love the soundtrack. I'm glad I own it on vinyl. And this is something everybody should own on vinyl. And everyone should own a copy of the movie because it's great. And that is my top 5 soundtrack albums for you, Captain Handlebars, for your contest. You folks agree with me? Disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. If you like my video, like it. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. Thank you and have a great day.